It's a return to the short tracks for Progressive American Flat Track, and maybe a sign of life for some hoping a new surface will improve their championship hopes. Stay with us for Flat Track.
I'm the best dude here as far as ability-wise.
I really just need to go out there and do one thing, and that's to win.
We worked so hard this year. The team worked so hard.
Let the race begin.
We're underway. The carrot is there. Can he go after it?
It doesn't take much for a guy to go down.
Wow, that was close. That was the pressure point.
Looking fantastic.
Wow, I did not expect this.
If he ruffles some feathers along the way, so be it.
Can't say these guys aren't tough. They take the win. Unbelievable run. You don't often see domination like this.
How impressive is that?
What a performance.
We haven't been disappointed.
It's the Mission Foods New York Short Track presented by Mad Max India Motorcycles. This is going to be a good one as we return to a very slick short track. Briar Bauman beginning to march away in the series standings. Going for 3 straight titles. Brandon Robinson looking to reel him back in after showing great speed all year. And you can never count out Jared Mees. Been fighting through injuries this year, but if he can get back to 100%, he can win races again. Jason Wygant joined by former Grand National champion Brad Baker, with Kristen Beat patrolling the racetrack. As we go to New York, the standings are one thing, but a different type of surface could shake this all up. But here's where we stand coming in, Brad.
Yeah, we got Brandon Robinson only 25 points out. That's within a race distance in points, but Jared Mees has been picking away in third, and Jared Vanderkoy there not too far out in fourth. It's still pretty close halfway through the season.
And we're going to race twice here with a doubleheader in New York, so if someone dials in this track, they can make up a bunch of points on Bauman. Let's send it down to Kristen Beat.
We're hitting the halfway point on the season, and when you look at the points climate in all 3 classes, I'm left with some questions. Dalton Gauthier earning his first Production Twins win of the season. He told me, I just needed the domino to tip in my direction, but is that newly inspired confidence enough to break Corey Texter's chokehold on the championship? Looking to the singles class, Dallas Daniels, now 15 points behind Maxwell in the standings. Will he find his flow in enough time to defend his singles championship? And how will the 18-year-old prodigy respond to racing with a points deficit? Then, of course, the Super Twins class. What has traditionally been a 2-rider battle for the championship has opened up. It is now a 4-rider dash for podium points, with Jared Mees surrounded by a crop of younger riders all fighting for series supremacy. And what better ring for a boxing match than the New York Short Track, the shortest track that we visit all season long, with turns 1 and 2 being completely different than 3 and 4. How will this all shake down? Guys, a lot of questions here in New York.
Well, that's what we like, and we'll get you some answers here. We'll first start with the highlights of Semi 1. Big crash with some of the big contenders.
Yeah, Sammy just tucked the front going into turn 3. Looked like it's a little slick. Luckily, he was able to get back up.
Sammy Halbert coming back from an injury and then going down there. Brandon Robinson got taken down with him. They restarted, and Briar Bauman absolutely checked out. But here's what's impressive. Halbert, after crashing and getting run over, fought his way back to finish second in this semi, and Robinson was able to recover as well. Larry Pegram also got caught up in that mess early on. We go to Semi 2. Bronson Bauman duking it out with Jared Mees.
Yeah, Bronson's looked great early on in the night. He got the semifinal win in Pennsylvania. Looks like he's going to bring it home here as well. We'll see if he's able to carry that speed into the main event.
And you can see them really tiptoeing around. You get an idea of the different radiuses of the corners, as Kristen was talking about, and how slick this track is. We'll see if Bronson can bring this form into our main event a little bit later, with Mees finishing second and Vanderkoy right behind in third. So what this does, the top 2 in each of our semis, it seeds 4 riders into our Mission Foods Challenge, where we give $5,000 to the winner. But Halbert's going to choose not to line up here, Brad.
Yeah, I think he just wanted to save his energy for the main event after he messed up his shoulder a little bit there in that crash in the semifinal. He even broke his helmet. He was lucky that he didn't have a concussion, so just saving his energy.
Okay, so we'll have 3 of the 4 riders. Halbert not on the grid, but Mees and the Bauman brothers are here. So let's go racing. A short track shootout for an extra $5,000 and a great start for Briar Bauman on the 1.
Yeah, that was an awesome hole shot, but Jared Mees hot in tow.
Oh, Mees already looking to the high line, and Bronson doing the same.
Yeah, Bronson's been liking that high line. He goes all the way to the top and tries to carry more momentum, but it's a long way around the racetrack.
Oh, Mees almost able to take the measure of Briar Bauman, and the outside's working. Bronson's right there.
Yeah, you see how Briar's is able to get it turned and keep it down underneath where the rubber's been laid. That's where there's a little bit of moisture left, and gets an awesome drive off the corner.
3 different lines. You got Mees shading a little bit higher than Briar, and then Bronson all the way up top. How will this play out in a 4-lap sprint?
Yeah, Bronson's starting to pick up momentum. It's almost, you got to have more laps. You start kind of just picking up momentum, and you can see he's starting to come on strong around the outside.
Briar trying to hold on, just protecting that low line. Mees took a few shots at it on the opening laps, but now time is running out. White flag. Oh, they're right there, though.
He's really good off of turn 4. If he could just get it turned a little bit more off of turn 2, Bronson, but got a good run.
Oh, he drove it in high. Gonna run out of space. Briar takes a look over. No, Bronson's right there. Briar Bauman holds on. Take the $5,000. Did Bronson?
Yeah, Bronson got him right at the line, so Briar and Bronson both put Jared Mees behind him.
Yep, all right, so brothers 1-2, but it's winners take all when it comes to this. $5,000 goes to Briar. Got to say, Bronson's got to be building some confidence here, though.
Yeah, for sure. I think I've seen him taunting Jared Mees a little bit there, trying to play little head games for later on.
All right, meanwhile, Briar Bauman takes the money. Let's send it to Kristen.
Briar Bauman taking the Mission Challenge win. Briar, as soon as you pulled into Victory Lane, you said off camera, do you like watching paint dry? What do you mean by that? You also added, let's help each other out.
Yeah, it's just so slow right now. It's funny, we were at Port Royal, 3 weeks ago, and I'm like, there's no way we will ever go to a slicker racetrack than Port Royal. I think we found it, so hopefully we get a little bit of moisture, we can get a little bit more racy. I felt bad, we were just putting around, I was joking. You forget you're racing sometimes. I was messing around with Jared a little bit, just looking back, so I'm sure he felt the same way I did, about like quarter throttle, just not really going anywhere. We wanna get it on for you guys. We appreciate everyone that came out, and hopefully moisture comes up, we get a little bit more racy in the main event. Thank you.
More racy. Well, that was actually pretty good right there between the Bauman brothers and Jared Mees. We'll see some other riders return to battle them in their main event as we transition to our singles class points chase. Very close. Dallas Daniels, Max Whale. Progressive American Flat Track is brought to you by Mission Foods, which has you covered with race day recipes that are too fast, too tasty. Progressive insures over 5 million boats, motorcycles, and RVs. Get a quote in under 4 minutes at AmericanFlatTrack.com/progressive. And by Law Tigers, you never have to ride alone. Let's talk Progressive American Flat Track singles class. Max Whale has put on a big run. He's taken the points lead from Dallas Daniels. Last year's champ, struggling a bit, was off the podium at our last 2 events. So we'll see if he can strike back. Well, let's check in with life off the track with Shayna Texter and Briar Bauman.
Here at home for Briar and I, we're just like that old married couple. We're fortunate to be able to work together and do it at home here. We can ride bicycles, go to the local park to go running, and also get in a little bit of some fun activities at home.
Like, we're not gonna judge this shot.
I mean, I would judge this shot, look at it.
It's important for us to have hobbies outside of racing so that, we can continue to have that drive to ride motorcycles and to race so that we don't get burnt out. The way Briar and I approach our diet is just really trying to eat clean and keep well-balanced diet throughout the week. Tacos with ground turkey is one of our go-to things because it's something we can eat a little bit lighter. Briar's family has a family recipe with salsa and enchiladas and tacos and those types of things. So it's super cool to use Mission products to enjoy those recipes with. Mission stepping up to support our sport, it's so cool. Briar likes avocados on his tacos, and I like cheese. So you can tell who takes the healthier, better choice.
All right, that's good stuff. We'll see how Shayna does in the singles class today, but the real focus is on Dallas Daniels, the Estenson Yamaha rider who was dominant last year, has slipped to second in the standings this year. Here's Kristen.
This will be your first time racing as a pro at Weedsport. Of course, the last time we visited here in the AFT series was 2019. What have others told you about this track?
Talking to, obviously, Colby Carlisle and my teammate Mikey Rush, talking about the shape of the track. The track's definitely shaped really weird, almost like a D if you look at it from a bird's eye view. So the corner entry to 1 is really tight and the exit to 4 is really tight. But to be honest, it reminds me of Dallas. And remembering back to Dallas, I had some good success there last year. So it's definitely a little smaller, obviously, but we'll just go out there and take it in strides and figure it out lap by lap.
Dallas, thank you so much. Best of luck this weekend. Dallas Daniels currently second in the AFT singles standings.
So we'll give you highlights of semi number 1 and the multiple grooves that we saw. It really starts to materialize here in the singles class. That's all over the track.
You see Morgan Mishler all the way around the outside. That's his specialty line. Comes up a little short, though.
Yep, so Daniels inside holds off Mishler on the outside. Henry Wiles right there. We go to semi number 2. A great start for Shayna, who came up from the 3rd row to start 3rd.
Wow, bad crash by James Ott. Directly into the air fence, but kind of a bad restart for some riders.
Good one, though, for Ryan Wells. Haven't seen the former champion in this class up front in a while. He's a New York native also, but he gets overhauled by Michael Ingerbritsen, who will take the semi-win. We're ready for the main. Let's send it to Kristen.
Estenson Yamaha's team manager, Tommy Hayden, told Dallas Daniels, don't expect this problem to fix itself. You have to fix it. A 9th place finish at the Port Royal half mile was uncharacteristic for the defending singles champion. And so I asked Dallas Daniels, what's going on? He told me that he got complacent. Finishing second was okay. He told me that he moved to a place where he was racing more towards consistency and maybe racing for the championship. He gave up racing for wins. So to address that, for the last 2 weeks, Dallas has been racing nonstop across the country, local races, pro-ams, invitationals. That's what he says makes him a good competitor. It's seat time. It's what helped him claim his first title. It's racing for wins. In addition to that, to turn this season around, Dallas has a whole new mentality. Don't worry about the championship. Now, despite saying there's no pressure, all eyes are on Dallas Daniels' battle cry for tonight. He said, we are going to war.
He needs to. Got to make up 15 points on Max Whale, and Daniels won 6 of the last 8 events last year, so I thought he'd be dominant this season. It's been tough. Then Ingerbritsen, you saw stealing a semi-win, and Morgan Mishler loves that high line. A lot of different riders that can win out here. Even Ryan Wells showing some old form. This is going to be good.
Yeah, really good. I'm looking forward to this main event. The singles class has been so exciting all year long, and this track has been great racing all night long.
And you got the veteran Henry Wiles in there as well on the Honda. And young riders like Cody Kopp, really hard to predict singles racing week in and week out, but it has been Max Whale on the Red Bull KTM, the best of the bunch so far. We'll see if anyone can get a bite into him. He has been about mid-pack today through qualifying and the semis. As we're ready with 17 riders on the line, slick track too. So does that lead to a little variance in who likes it and who doesn't?
Yeah, it definitely does. This is a track where you can't ride too aggressive, so some riders definitely try to override the motorcycle.
Here we go, main event time in singles. Bad start for Daniel, slipping and sliding. And is that going to lead Mishler on the lucky number 13 to the lead?
Yeah, great hole shot by Morgan. That's usually not his specialty. First time I've seen him get a hole shot in a while.
Okay, he usually likes that high line. Let's see if he protects. Here comes Ryan Wells. A renaissance evening so far. Again, this rider has won the championship in this class before. It's been a struggle in 21. He's pressing for the lead. He just got swallowed up, though. Here come the Hondas like Henry Wiles in the 17.
Yeah, it's difficult to get a start on this type of racetrack because sometimes you don't know to go to the high line or low line. You go out there and start trying and seeing if it's fast right away, but you never know to lap into it. Wow, that was a tank slapper going into turn 1 for Trevor Bruner.
Yep, that's to 21, and he has another mistake yet. All through this, he's going to move to the lead.
Wow, that was a great run that he got off of turn 2 there. Let's see if he's able to find something now that he got that line.
Dallas Daniels moving back into contention as well. 4 riders just swapping positions. You've got the Honda boys, Wiles, and Bruner going at it.
Yeah, Wiles shoved it underneath him, pushed his teammate up the racetrack a little bit.
And now Mishler back to his standard way up top high line, so he's a factor as well. Oh! Man, it's getting tight.
You can see the run that he just got off of turn 4. I think he found something there. See if he's able to pick up his momentum and keep that going. Wow, that's close to the air fence.
Yeah, and meanwhile, the aggression with the Honda teammates battling each other. Interesting to watch down there in the low line, not a lot of room.
You can see Brandon Kitchen and Ferran Cardus trying that high line too, catching up to these guys.
Oh, this is going to get good. Everyone's figuring out where they want to go on the racetrack. At the moment, Wiles has the lead with Bruner and Mishler right behind him. Yep, Kitchen in the mix, Cardus, Daniels, throw a blanket over them.
Yeah, this is the red type of racing we came here to watch.
So Bruner now to the lead. Mishler using the high line to move into second, at least for the moment, with Wiles right there. The Honda boys backed by Progressive Let's check this out.
Looks like he just gets that. There's a hole right there entering turn 1. Some riders actually caught their foot in it. Sometimes he'll catch you off guard and make the front end kind of get out of shape as well.
Yeah, that was Bruner. Almost threw it away. Moments later, he took the lead. He lost it. He's gotten it back and now trying to pull away. Field stretching out just a bit. If you're Dallas Daniels here on the Yamaha, you've got to move forward and make up ground. Great racing. It's the Mission Foods New York Short Track Progressive American Flat Track. One of the progressive Hondas leads the way with Trevor Bruner. It was very close. Lots of battling early in the main. He's trying to make a break for it, though.
Yeah, Trevor's starting to pull away for sure, but you see Dallas Daniels kind of mimicking the same line on the bottom. And then you got Morgan Mishler just trying to keep up as much momentum as he possibly can. If you're up there, you got to run it in the corner super deep and keep your wheels in line to try to just not scrub off as much speed as possible.
Yellow Suzuki Ferran Carduce, the rider out of Spain, making that outside work as well. Right in the hunt.
Yeah, he's looking really good on the Wally Brown Racing Suzuki. First time on that ride. Awesome to see a rider from overseas coming over and being competitive in this class. They don't have any kart tracks in Spain or really Europe, period, so him running up front with these guys is impressive.
And what we love to see is you got 2 riders down at the bottom of the track and 2 riders up at the top. It's working out about the same. We'll see if it changes as the race goes on. We're on board here with Daniels on the Estenson Yamaha. You see on the inside, it looks good right now. Mishler on the high line pulls back away.
Yeah, Dallas is starting to reel these guys in a little bit. I think he's finding that lower line. I mean, he's almost touching his handlebar on the medium and on the bottom, just trying to search for every ounce of grip that he can.
And that's funny, we were talking about Bruner earlier, and Mishler almost up at the air fence on the top. So they're using every inch of this racetrack, and look at how close it remains. Daniels, Mishler really going at it. They've got Carduce with him, and I think they're catching our leader.
And you can see these guys are either going above the groove or below the groove. That's the groove is that blue line in the middle, kind of the darker line. That's where the track's gotten dried out, so they're just trying to find fresh dirt where there's still a little bit of moisture left.
Daniels, I think, might finally have that second place position locked down. Max Whale, your series leader. It has been a rough go. There he is, sliding all the way to the top. So with Whale back here, this is Daniels' opportunity to make up a ton of ground on the series standings.
Yeah, he sure does. And you see Max, he's back there, and you know that he wants to pick off as many riders as he can that can control the damage here tonight.
Got him in 7th place, your series leader. And Daniels, he's shaken off the pressure of Mishler, and he is closing down on your leader, Bruner.
Yeah, Bruner just in the middle of the corner is not getting it slowed down quite enough, kind of ruining his momentum through the center of the corner right there. You see him get sideways where Dallas is just getting it turned a little bit sooner and able to get the drive off the corner.
Oh, we're about to engage in battle. Time running out, though, in this main. Does Daniels have time to get Bruner? He's caught him. Can he pass?
Bruner's never really been in this situation where he's leading with the laps winding down and see if the pressure possibly gets to him. This is a track that's very easy to make mistakes on.
Gonna be 2 to go as they hit the flag this time.
Slipping up just a little bit. It's a good drive, see if he's able to finish it off. Not quite.
Oh, and a lap and a half left. Desperation time. Oh, great drive out of the corner by Daniels. Bruner has to fight back.
Yeah, see if Bruner is able to shut the door coming in turn 3. Not quite. See if he can square it back up, get back by him.
He's gonna have to hope the high line works for him. Wheel to wheel we go with the white flag in sight here in New York.
Yeah, Bruner just a little too wide on that one, but he cuts it back underneath.
This would be clutch for Dallas Daniels to get the lead, but you can see Bruner, who wants this victory. He's trying everything. He's trying insides, he's trying outsides. Too late. Dallas Daniels is back on top in the singles class of American Flat Track.
That is exactly what Dallas Daniels needed to get his confidence and his momentum back going and cut off a big chunk of points on Max Whale.
Yeah, I just figured Daniels, as a rookie winning the title last year, was going to be dominant. This year, he has been good, but not great. And then the 5-9 finishes at the last 2 rounds cost him the points lead. He marches right back to victory lane tonight. On the Estenson Yamaha, Bruner on the Honda, great run. Probably learned some lessons there, finishes second, and that high line for Mishler was fun to watch. Almost got him to the win. he'll end up on the podium. Let's go to Kristen. I'm sure our race winner is pumped.
Before this race, Dallas Daniels said, "We're going to war." We talked about this week. No more settling for second. We are racing for wins. What helps you respond to not only the pressure, but the adversity that you were facing in this main event?
This last few weeks has been some of the toughest part, you know, just like getting used to dealing with pressure and stuff like that, and not having the finish we wanted. And Tommy Hayden told me, he said, "I want to fix itself." So I said, all right, I got to go out and do something about it. That's exactly what we did. We showed up here determined, and first practice looked like it was a Pennsylvania win. I was pretty upset, and I was like, I gotta make something happen. So, you know, today was that main event was a little weird for me. You know, I got off to not a very good start, and I was kind of chasing the track, and Trevor got out to an early lead, and I just never gave up. Just kept pushing, and finally got it right there at the end, and it was a nail biter. But I'm happy to be back on top.
Oh, you bet. And Whale ended up 8th tonight, so we had a 15-point lead. He lost 14 of them. We're almost at a dead heat at the top of the singles standings. Weil is a solid ride. It's been much better after struggles to the beginning of the year. He's tied with Mishler for third in the points. Oh, Trevor Bruner almost had it tonight. Let's go back to Kristen.
Trevor, you and Dallas Daniels actually raced together growing up. What is it like to now race as pros in the American Flat Track singles class? And how did you choose between running the top and the bottom line throughout that race?
You know, growing up with Dallas, racing with him, it's always been fun. It's always been a lot of battles, and growing up, you know, this is what we both wanted to do, and here we are dicing it up on the stage. So it means a lot, and it's a great feeling. But yeah, you know, there was definitely quite a lot of lines out there today. But you know, the way it was watered for the main event, we thought on our parts that the high line wasn't going to be the way around, just, you know, longer way around the track. So we stuck to our guns and chose the bottom, and worked out good for us. We just goofed it just a little bit there in those last couple laps.
Well, they all get to come back tomorrow night on the same track. Maybe Bruner can take those lessons and get the win, or maybe Morgan Mishler can. He finishes third tonight.
You know, with the track continually changing, it's kind of difficult just trying to find that right setup. And today we're just like a nick off. So, you know, we're just going to go back to the drawing board tomorrow, and luckily we don't have too much work, but, you know, we're going to try to dial it in for tomorrow.
Well, that was some great racing right down to the final lap. Dallas Daniels takes the lead and the win. That's good for him, and maybe good for us. Should be in store for some more great racing with Production Twins and Super Twins as we continue. Progressive American Flat Track is brought to you by Cat Rental Store, the official heavy equipment supplier of American Flat Track. Progressive insures over 5 million boats, motorcycles, and RVs. Get a quote in under 4 minutes at AmericanFlatTrack.com/progressive. And by S&S Cycle, presenting partner of Mission Super Twins and the official exhaust of American Flat Track. Welcome back, Progressive American Flat Track here on NBCSN. We're getting ready. This is the Production Twins class. We'll show you the highlights of their main event. One thing you can count on, great starts of Corey Texter, your series leader. He's the whole shot master. He's got Dalton Gauthier right behind him. Gauthier would run into some trouble right here.
Cameron Smith getting aggressive, just doing a little bit of a block pass, gets by him coming off turn 4.
And Gauthier would actually catch his foot in a hole and hurt himself, but he would still hold on for third ahead of this good battle to Royal Enfield number 10. Johnny Lewis battling with Dan Bromley. That's 4th and 5th. Okay, so it looks like Texter's got this, but Cameron Smith from second really starts to rally.
Yeah, he really catches him towards the end. You see Corey Texter spinning up in the center of the corner where Cameron's just keeping up his momentum a lot better.
Cameron does have a second place at a mile track earlier this year. Now going for the run on the short track. Comes up a couple of bike lengths short. That's big for Texter, your series leader. And his G&G Racing Yamaha team, they are pumped. But also a shout out to Smith with that runner-up ride, building some momentum. And Gauthier, with a broken ankle, it turns out, will finish on the podium ahead of Lewis and Bromley. These guys are tough. So Texter continues to pull away. You see why it's critical for Gauthier to try to salvage podium points, just to try to have any shot at this title. He does it. And Bromley there is in third after the 5th place finish. But Corey Texter, a dream season so far, and he just keeps it rolling. Send it to Kristen.
Corey Texter with his 5th win of the season. Corey, we mentioned during that race, you lengthening the straightaways. What helped you do that tonight and square off the corners?
Yeah, to be honest, we did the sighting lap, and I wasn't too too ambitious for what we were going to do in that main event, but I'm just going to dig. I feel every opportunity that I get to be on the front row and to get a hole shot, I'm going to try and take advantage of. And yeah, the hole down there that has been biting everybody. I caught my leg there twice, and it's a fine line between trying to push in and trying to watch that hole, because one time it almost spit me off. But technical track, I'm really happy with this. Yeah, it's been a long few weeks since Port Royal, and I'm just happy to be back up here. I want to thank my whole team, my sponsors, G&G Racing, Parts Unlimited, Mission Foods, Jerry Stinchfield, McElroy Packaging, Kicker, Motul, Bell Power Sports, Alpine Stars, Motion Pro, Clockworks, John Christner, I know he's watching, good friend of mine, my family, my wife, my little boy, my whole family, man, they keep me going, and I'm really grateful for them, and I'm just grateful for these opportunities to be up here and race my motorcycle.
Let's talk tires here. It's a short track, it's a slick track. Dunlop Tire Talk. What's the story, Brad?
Yeah, biggest thing is the singles were actually able to run an R3, a softer compound tonight. For how slick the racetrack is, they decided to run the softer compound, but here in the twins class, all they can run is R5, so they're going to be using that medium compound tire and trying to get it hooked up as much as they can.
Yep, fighting for traction. It's the name of the game always in American flat track, but especially tonight, we've seen multiple grooves. Should lead to great racing as we get ready for our main, as everyone tries to chase down your series leader, Briar Bauman. Progressive American Flat Track here on NBCSN. We're ready for our Mission Super Twins main event. It's a short track, traction at a premium. Briar Bauman looked good throughout our qualifying. Brandon Robinson second to the points here in the number 44, hoping to track him down. Or maybe we're in line for an upset winner. It's a different type of track than we've seen lately.
Yeah, it's been a while since these guys have been out on the racetrack too. See if that high line will stay in, or maybe these guys will just drop all the way down to the bottom.
Yeah, they were all over the racetrack in our previous mains, especially that singles class you saw earlier. The Bauman brothers, 1-2 on the grid. Sammy Halbert returning from injury and had a crash earlier. He's still seated third. JD Beach and the Yamaha boys trying to figure out how to solve this racetrack. It's 10th on the grid. We get ready for our main. 10 minutes plus 2 laps for all the glory here from New York. Jared Mees, good jump on the number 9 from the outside.
But it'll be Briar Bauman on the inside, gets a hole shot, leads her off turn 2.
And Halbert right there in the 69, splitting them. Halbert switching from outside to inside now.
Yeah, Mees goes directly to the top, but so does Briar, rolls it all the way up there.
But how about Halbert coming back from injury, then a big crash in his semi, was right there, had the lead momentarily. No, Briar Bauman fights back.
Yeah, Briar gets a turn, tries to make that whole D-shaped back straightaway into a straightaway.
And you've got his brother Bronson on the 37 way up high. There's the 92 of Brandon Price. And let's see who can run with this lead pack.
Brandon Price has came on strong, it seems like, in the main event for the last couple of races now. Let's see if he's able to get up there.
Mees and Bronson Bauman running the high line. Then it's Briar Bauman and the Coolbeth Nyla Racing entry of Halbert down there on the low line. Right now, it looks like the low line's working a little better.
Yeah, the low line definitely working a little bit better, but as we were talking about in the singles, man, it's really hard for Briar to lead because he's up there just kind of cutting his own tracks, seeing, he doesn't know if the low line's working because he doesn't have a rear view mirror behind him to see what the other guys are doing.
Oh, we just had your proof. He actually just switched to the high line out of that corner. So now he's going high, and Halbert's going to just stay low.
Yeah, let's see if it pays off for him. If Halbert gets by him, and then he'll know that, hey, that bottom line's better, but it's kind of a risky move. Just as you can see, he's already getting the run on him.
Oh, I think it's going to work. He's got the lead.
Yeah, it looks like the low line is just a tad bit better unless Briar can get up there and kind of get his momentum going. Sometimes it takes a few laps to kind of get in your rhythm, get in your groove. You got to have your shut-off points. Well, he drops right back to the bottom.
Well, okay, he spent 2 laps out there, and he went from leading to second, so maybe a reset. Meanwhile, you have Jared Mees still experimenting, battling with Bronson Bauman.
Yeah, it's just difficult when you know, the first 5 laps, you're just kind of searching around, seeing what works, and seems like these guys are finding that the bottom is the fastest way around the racetrack right now.
Yeah, lo and behold, there is Mees sticking to it. He switched a few laps ago. Robinson next, and then it's Price trying to get around him. These are teammates. Mission Foods, Roof Systems of Dallas entries from the Indian Motorcycles.
You can see these guys kind of slipping around. It's when you take that lower line, it's really hard to get it slowed down. It's because the corner is that much tighter. So coming into the corner, you really are trying to finesse the throttle and the brake at the same time to keep your wheels in line.
So the laps keep clicking off. And how about Sammy Halbert dealing with the pressure? Different lines used by Briar Bauman, but has not really been able to show Halbert a wheel.
Yeah, this is an amazing run by Sammy Halbert. I mean, it was just, a couple months ago, he broke his right foot. I mean, quite a few bones in the end of his foot that he broke from getting it hung up in the wall at Joliet. And then that crash here in the semifinal, I mean, that was a hard crash. He basically got bike slammed by a 340-pound Indian, and now he's out here leading the main event. Talk about being a warrior.
Unbelievable. So Slammin' Sammy starting to get away now. He did return for our last race and finished 11th in Pennsylvania, so no indication that this was coming, but he is on it right now. Let's see if Briar can fight back. Meanwhile, you've got Robinson in that 44. He is starting to close on Mies, and here comes Brandon Price in the 92.
Yeah, Brandon Robinson got to keep himself up in the positions as much as possible. I mean, he's close in the points, but if he keeps on letting Briar, get a couple positions ahead of him, that's going to be enough for him to pull away in the points.
And J.D. Beach on the Yamaha, how about this? Went back to his old game, filled in for the factory Yamaha team in road racing on an off weekend. They've been working very hard with this Yamaha, but I would think the slick short track, is this where they're making the most progress?
I'd say that this is the most that they've been doing a lot of testing, so they definitely been making some progress. But with this being, on the bottom of the racetrack, the acceleration that the Yamaha has could almost be better to just help the bike get off the corner when they're taking such a tight turn.
Oh, okay, because I know traction is what they've been working on. So on the slick surface, is that a problem, or they getting there?
It's definitely difficult, but they've been working a lot on chassis, suspension, and a lot on the firing order of that engine. Basically everything on that engine or that whole motorcycle they've been working on. They haven't been leaving no stone unturned.
All right, so JD there at 95, down on the low line, is right in the mix, battling it out with Robinson and Mies. If he put that Yamaha on the podium tonight, that team would be ecstatic. Got a little work to do, though, as Price is trying to take the measure of Robinson. Back up front, looking good for Halbert.
Yeah, Halbert's starting to pull away. You see him sitting back on the rear fender, just trying to get as much weight as he possibly can over the rear tire to get traction. But Sammy from the Pacific Northwest, there's a lot of short tracks up there. One of his specialties, that's for sure.
Well, he's showing it right now. What a bounce back this would be. Missed a couple of rounds with the broken foot. You would never know it. So as far as the title is concerned, he's out of it. But you get a race win straight up against Briar Bauman, you're doing something right. But there's still plenty of time. 4 minutes and 2 laps. This is a long distance on a short track.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, just one mistake. I mean, you can overcook it into the corners. You can see Brandon Price's front end kind of moving around on him. That's him just running into the corner just a little too deep and missing the apex of the corner.
So now the 92 of Price under pressure, just running that low line, the 95. Yeah, that's good stuff from Beach, and good stuff up front from our race leader, Sammy Halbert. Progressive American Flat Track here on NBCSN. Great racing. These riders all scrapping to get into podium contention. You've got Brandon Price, you've got Jared Vanderkoy, J.D. Beach, Brandon Robinson. They're just outside the mix. This is for 5th place.
Yeah, Jared Vanderkoy looks like he's finding something up around the outside there. Really smooth. Keeping his wheels in line, starting to pick up momentum. Let's see if he's able to get around the outside here.
Ooh, Price squeezed him. They were right up against the wall, and Vanderkoy stayed in it and takes the spot.
Yeah, you see that wider entry into the corner. He's not having to pinch it in the center as much as what Price is doing, and just goes right on by.
Oh, meanwhile, Jared Mies has caught back up to Bronson Bauman. Bauman had him covered for a few laps. This is for the podium.
Yeah, Bronson's been looking good. If he's able to hold on to a podium, that'll be a really good finish for him.
Yeah, definitely building momentum here the last couple of rounds, Bronson, but you have to deal with Jared Mies. That is a tall task. As determined, as experienced, as gritty as they come, the multi-time series champ, and he will scratch a claw for every point. So he wants that podium tonight as we go back to Price and Beach battling here.
Yeah, look at JD just right on the bottom, trying to get down on any bit of fresh racetrack that he possibly can to get that Yamaha hooked up.
And Price now following him on the bottom as well. They've shuffled Robinson back. That is the rider who's lost the most in that battle. A couple of riders have gotten around him. Let's check back with your leader. It has been Sammy Halbert on the 69 for a while. My question is Briar Bauman waiting, or can he just not get any closer?
I don't think he's waiting. Like right now, since he's opened up a little bit of gap on him, Sammy has. You know, he's been trying to hunt him back down, but on a racetrack like this, sometimes when you push it's a little too hard, you make mistakes. So I really think that Briar's just trying to inch away at him, and he definitely has since the last time. Look at there, going into the corner, just gobbles up a lot of time. See if he's able to do it again going into turn 3.
Yeah, can he get it hooked up coming out? Definitely has the entry. Look at how much he makes up right here.
Yeah, he's definitely running into the corner. He's made it all up now. He's there.
Oh, here we go. So 1 minute to go before the 2 laps to go board comes out. So we're looking at maybe 4 or 5 laps. Can Halbert hold on? This would be a big win.
Yeah, Briar is definitely not afraid to get aggressive, to run it in and make a block pass.
Whoa, right there. But what has happened, you know, we saw riders experimenting with the high line. They're both down low. Is he just going to have to move them?
He definitely will have to get aggressive, try to get a run off the corner and just come in and, like I said, make a little bit of a block pass, see if he makes it right here.
Oh, a little bit of an opening. This is what Briar Bauman has been looking for.
Not quite. Sammy's opening the door, leaving the door open just a little bit into the corner. He's going to have to be on protect mode.
Oh, this is good stuff here, this New York short track. There's an opening. If Briar gets his big entry, he might be able to get the block pass.
He does.
There it is.
Well, look and see if Sammy's able to square him back up. Whoa. Looked like Briar almost high-sided there, kind of got on the throttle just a little too hard, let Sammy go back by.
Oh, that was what Halbert needed. He needed a bailout. He got it because Bauman had the lead. Okay, instant replay here this next time around.
Yeah, he's going to go for it.
Oh, there it is. He makes a pass. Can he hold on this time? Oh, good job by Halbert. He squared it back up to the inside.
That was a veteran move by Sammy. Just kind of checked up a little bit, let Briar go by, and cut back underneath him.
All right, so now we know the move from Bauman. Now we know the counter for Halbert. So Bauman might have to figure something else out.
Sammy knows that he just has to stay right on the bottom, maybe like be on protect mode, because if he opens the door just a little bit, Briar's going to be there to put it underneath him.
This is going to come down to turn 3, final lap. Halbert looking for the win. Bauman, you know what he likes to do? Drive it down deep on the entrance. No, he's going to go high.
Sammy really protected going into turn 3. He has one more straightaway.
And the drive is not going to work for Bauman. And how about it? Sammy Halbert back from injury and back in victory lane. There is Kenny Coolbeth, one of the legends of this sport. And these two have brought the team back to the top.
It's awesome to see the number 69 back on top. Sammy representing the number 69 for his late brother Jethro. So cool to see.
Absolutely, and how gritty. This guy got run over in his semi crash. Larry Pegram had nowhere to go, ran him over. He didn't even compete in our Mission Foods Challenge. He lines back up for the main, not in salvage mode, race winner mode. And there is, well, there's the guy that you know knows his way around this track. When you're talking to Coolbeth, you get good advice. They are pumped. What a win for Halbert. Mies, well, he won that battle with Bronson Bauman, salvaging podium points. That's what he does. And that torrid fight for 5th, it goes to Vanderkoy, Beach, and Robinson. Price, Fisher, Carlisle round out the top 10. Let's go down to Kristen.
Sammy Halbert in his second start after missing 4 rounds, after hitting the ground earlier in the day, after battling with the points leader, Briar Bauman, you're able to take the win. Did you leave everything out on track in that main event?
Woo! Heck yeah! That was awesome. Love it. Woo! That's I was fired up to say the least. I just had to focus in and be smart. You know, he was trying those block passes on me, and I just had to use my years of experience to keep it on the bottom and not let him get the best of me, especially on that last lap. I know he's so aggressive with going for these wins, and so I did not give him an opening. We brought it home. Just a big thanks to my whole team, keeping me safe, and man, I'm just so blessed to be out here. It's you know, the last time I had knee surgery, I came back 12 weeks later and won my first race. So I knew that I could come back from surgery and do really well. although I tried to come back a couple weeks too early and didn't. So this is my real comeback, and I showed what I'm made of.
I think LL Cool J says it best. He was never gone, so it's not really a comeback, right? Don't call it a comeback. Guys?
It is like he picked up right where he left off. Thanks, Kristen. Big one for Sammy Halbert. That'll make it interesting because, again, it's a doubleheader, and we'll be back here tomorrow night. And if he's got the track dialed once, why not twice? So big for him. Not so bad, though, for Briar Bauman. He does pick up some more points on his championship rivals. We'll talk to him next. AFT on NBCSN is brought to you by Indian Motorcycle, the official partner of Progressive American Flat Track. And by Whelen Engineering, the official safety lighting of Progressive American Flat Track. And Mission Foods has you covered with race day recipes that are too fast, too tasty. Well, there you can see the D-shaped short track here in New York. Some great racing, a nail-biter right down to the line. And the very experienced Sammy Halbert came out on top, outfoxing your two-time and defending series champion, Briar Bauman. And you'll see how close it was here at the line. Bauman had made the pass. Halbert gets him back. That'll relegate the number 1 to 2nd tonight. Here's Kristen.
Briar Bauman dicing it up with Sammy Halbert. And as we said, a lot of aggression out there. You're going for these wins. You just said, I am fired up, Kristen. I wasn't racing with any hesitancy. What was that battle like for you? And take me through that moment where you bobbled. How were you able to pull yourself together and find that composure?
Yeah, I mean, it was probably the wrong racetrack you needed to be fired up on. I maybe had a little bit too much Arma Sport this morning. Got really fired up, and was making so many mistakes, and he was flawless for like the first 3 quarters of the race. I literally was doing everything I could, and it's one of those tracks when you try and do too much, you lose time, and that's what I was doing. He was getting away, and luckily we were able to get back up in there, and unfortunately there was nowhere really to pass tonight. The groove, or the only good spot, was on the bottom. So we did what we could. We threw a few shots in the dark to see if they'd stick, and I almost crashed at the same time. So I was like, you know what? He went so low, and like 3 and 4. I'm like, I'll send it. Like, why not? What do we got to lose, you know? So went for it, but he had it locked down. He was riding so good, especially for not being here with us for the last couple races with an injury. So hats off to him. It was, like I said, he was flawless the whole main event, and hopefully I'm getting fired up at the right time.
Absolutely. It's always fun to watch those battles, especially with Briar Bauman. Guys?
Well, it was. He made the block pass twice. Halbert able to get him back. But the big story with Robinson finishing out of the top 5 tonight, Mies 3rd. Bauman's opening up that points lead to over 1 full race. It was much closer about 4 rounds ago. Vanderkoy and J.D. Beach round out the top 10. But Mies will stay in it. You know that he'll give you everything he's got. And tonight, that ends up 3rd.
Where there's a will, there's a way, and there's a lot of will when you talk about Jared Mies and this 9 team. Jared, at one point, you even bounced off the wall. What helped you maintain your efficiency out there? And more so, what helped you get that drive off of turn 4, because you kind of figured it out halfway through the race there?
Yeah, well, Sammy and Briar were going fast right around the bottom, and I tried to run their line and mimic it exactly, and I just didn't have quite the setup for going down there. I was real busy, and the bike was nervous, so Bronson came around the outside of me where I started earlier in the day, or earlier in the main event, and I just went right back up there, and it took me a long time for me to gather anything on him. He was riding very, very well, and he wasn't making very many mistakes at all, and I think our moisture started kind of like moving away and getting out of there, and kind of had to search a little bit, and I think that played in my favor because he kept running the same line, and I kept moving around a little bit and finding a little bit. And I finally got into him, and I felt like, I was like, I'm going to sink my teeth in him now, and we diced it up good. It was a good battle. Unfortunately, it was for 3rd, but it was for the last spot on the podium. And, we've been consistent, pretty good on the podiums. I want to get a little bit better and fight for those wins. But I got a great group of guys, Jimmy Wood, Kenny Tolbert, Bubba. You guys work so hard for me, and huge shout out too for one of the biggest supporters in flat track, Mission Foods. It's awesome to have them on board as well.
I was checking them off your list there. You've got Twig, so Twig. I promised Hayden that she would get to hold the mic for a minute, guys. This is why we do this. So congratulations, Jared. It's Hayden's time now. Hayden for MBT. Okay, it's your time, girl.
What are you going to say?
All right, Kristen, watch out. You've got company up there on the podium. We'll be back for the New York Short Track number 2. We'll go to another night. We'll see if Texter, Daniels, and Halbert can hold on. But it was pretty good racing tonight, Brad.
Yeah, it sure was. I mean, there's about 5 other riders that can take the win for night 2. so it's going to be just as exciting.
That's what we'd like to see. But for now, we sing congrats out. How about the comeback kid, Sammy Halpert, taking the win in Mission Super Twins? For Brad Baker and Chris DeBeat, I'm Jason Wygant. Thanks for watching.